What's up, Rubits? Little Big Robot's back. Hey, I remember a few years ago, adjust my little microphone here. I remember a few years ago, tell me if I'm wrong here, because I am old and decrepit and don't remember everything all the time, but I remember a few years ago, the Gunpla Builders World Cup, I think it's what it's called, GBWC or whatever, announced or put out the results. I can't remember exactly what it was. Of their yearly contest. If you don't know, Gunpla is Gundam Plastic, and that means building plastic model kits. They have a contest every year where like the very best of the very best go to this contest and they pick winners. It's really, really cool, and there's, of course, amazing builds there. But for me, what's more exciting about it is watching like YouTubers I follow or like just plain old normal people go to like a local contest to try to get their piece into the contest. So really, really fun overall thing, I think. Some people don't like it, but that's cool. But a few years ago, they put out the results, and there were pieces in there that I remember were judged on basically on their creativity. I think they announced beforehand that they were going to use that as a judging parameter. Anyway, and so there were pieces in there that didn't obviously take as much fine motor skill, I guess would be it, than some of the other pieces that, took like 3 years to build and stuff like that, or a year or 2 years. So I remember having a great time that year with the contest. I don't normally really care that much about it, just because it's not really my style. But I remember having a great time that year because the pieces were very creative. There are some fun creative ones, but also I just really relished the community reaction to it. And that sounds a bit, I'm not trolling or anything like that, but it sounds a bit trolly. But a lot of people were very, very angry that creativity was used as a parameter instead of, like I said, fine motor skill, sheer ability with a brush or airbrush in most cases, I'm sure. To me, it represented a pretty big change in the yearly contest, and I thought it was going to be great to be able to invite so many people that would never have a chance before. So for me, it's kind of like a sport in the Olympics. Let's say running. Running is a good example. There's a theory or whatever that if you take the gold medal winning runners, from the Olympics back in the 40s, let's say, or whatever, 50s, and compare to now, humans seemingly have gotten so much faster, right? They just keep breaking records. Once you know the limit of your thing you're into, running or rowing or the jump over the thingy with the pole vault. Once you know those limits, you have something to work to. So if the world record was 3 seconds faster, you just work that much harder. You really pinpoint that much, and humans tend to get faster and faster each year gradually. But no matter what we do, however hard we work, no human is ever going to break, 30 miles, 35 miles, 40 miles an hour running. No human's ever, I think the fastest is 23 miles an hour, something like that, 22. No human is ever, no matter how much we try, unless we use like cybernetic or some kind of drug or something like that, no one's ever going to actually break that. So what we have every year are little incremental differences. And to me, once you've kind of reached the apex of a sport, or the highest realm that you can go to, I don't find the repetition, the incremental little amounts, or just a repeat of last year that interesting. So I watch it, I enjoy it, but I tend to find more creative sports, gymnastics, the rhythm gymnastics, the ones with like the hula hoops and stuff. Women's gymnastics typically are much more exciting because there's an element of creativity. There's costumes and there's music. And creativity is the one thing humans have that separates us from almost anything we've ever known or met. And so, like a sport, Gunpla builders each year see what someone else has done, and they work to pass that mark on to jump that little bit further, to reach that little bit higher. But there is a point of motor control and exact detail that humans cannot go past. We do have physical limits. Even the most skilled person in the world has a limit, just like our lifespan, just like all sorts of things we're limited by. There is a physical wall there that we can reach. And that's where creativity steps in. There is no limit for your creativity. Or if there is a limit, it's so much more far than anything based on physical motor skill or the eye for detail or whatever. So what a lot of those detail-oriented people didn't realize that they were doing was they were reaching the pinnacle of fine motor skills, details, eye for detail, perfect placement of the decals, stuff like that, hit a wall, and that's when they had to get creative. And so you'll see these very, very, very fine detailed ones in a position, or like say in a setting or a scene that they built that no one had done before. So creativity is always there, whether you think you're a non-creative and that you're just super skilled or not. Creativity is what makes us human. Every day, I'd say almost every second of every day, you are using creativity because that's how you navigate the world. You have to imagine what's around the corner or where your foot should go. It's all part of imagination and being creative. Years ago, on the Gunpla subreddit, which is the mods are very odd there, I posted a question. So I went onto the Gunpla subreddit and I asked, does anybody know or the formula or something that would take place of this Testors Create Effects wash? Because I wanted basically a bucket of it, like a good, a shoebox sized full kind of vat of it. I just wanted to dip some stuff in it, and not only dip it, but leave it in there for a couple of days. Experiment, dip it, take it out, hang it naturally, dip it, take it out, spin it around, of course with protection around so it doesn't fly everywhere, spin it around in a bag, put it out in the sunlight, throw it in the grass and the dirt, have fun experimenting with what is in reality. What you would be doing is kind of creating it running through mud and stuff. Most of the comments I get are like, why are you doing that? It's not going to work. It's going to drip weird. It's going to look stupid. Trust me, don't, washes are this and that. And I just kept saying, no, I understand. I just am curious if anybody knows that formula or something I can create that would have that. It's got a great stickiness. I just love that wash stuff. And so I got a lot of people seemed almost offended that I would deem to think that I could, how dare I think that I could do a dirty experiment like that and have it work right. And that's not what I was looking for. What I was looking for was literally an experiment, something fun, something creative, a new way of doing things that sure might not have worked, but maybe I would have discovered some other stuff that works with it. I don't know. I was just having fun. And so I worry sometimes when I see a new builder. This happens all the time. All you have to do is go look on the Gunpla subreddit, go look on the Gunpla hashtag on Blue Sky, stuff like that. And you'll see people who hear about this Gunpla thing, especially Warhammer people or people interested in that. And they'll go and they'll pick one up. And they'll come back with $400 in, tools and model kits, and they bought a perfect grade and this, that, and the other. And they immediately start asking people, how do I do this properly? How do I really get it done the right way? And people will tell them, got to have those seam lines done. You got to have those panel lines done. Make sure you do this. Here's how you play. And immediately the rules start coming out. This is the proper way to do something. This is, you're asking for problems if you do it that way. It's different than when somebody's saying, hey, I want to place a water slide on a model kit. Can I use castor oil or something crazy, whatever, excuse me. And somebody says, no, the proper way to do that is this, that, and the other. That's different. If somebody is wanting to pursue a very particular activity, doing water slides, building a cool gun effect that looks like it was hot and cooled off, that kind of stuff. In Warhammer, they have the glow effect that everybody get obsessed with. And making a weapon glow, and you paint in a way that it makes it look like the light is on the body, but it's just with paint. It's brilliant stuff. If people want to pursue that particular type of activity and ask, and somebody says this is the proper way, quote unquote, to do it, that I have no problem with that. But to me, when you start to form a set of rules in a creative field, you'll find that people are less likely to experiment. They start. We all have seen new builders, collectors, players, whatever. immediately get discouraged because the brand new Gunpla they just built, the one they've never built before, doesn't look like a world contest winning entry. And it drives me crazy because I have seen people say that I actually feel depressed. I'm just never going to be that good. And I always tell those people, if you're discouraged, stop that path, the path to correctness, try something completely out of the realm of normal. Take your Gunpla outside and cover it in grass and bury it for a month. Dig it up. You cut your finger and you put human blood on it. I don't know. You can just have so much fun experimenting. That's why you shouldn't start off with a really expensive kit. Start off with 3 or 4 cheap HGs and just experiment. Get used to the feel of the plastic. And try different things. And one day you will find something that you finish and you go, hey, this looks good enough. This makes me happy that I completed something. Instead of attempting to go after perfection immediately and failing miserably. I mean, I've been building Gunpla, I've been building model kits since I was a kid. So I've been building them for 35, 40 years, right? I'm an artist. I can draw. I'm a creative person. I can write. So you would think that the skills that it takes to do a proper, quote unquote, really nice model kit is something I would like. I've never really gotten good at it because I find it kind of tedious and boring. You'll see people say this, oh man, I'm getting ready to do this model kit. Here's the part I just dread. I've got to put all the panel lining. I got to scribe the whole thing. And while I understand that's part of the path to perfection, and I completely respect somebody who takes that, I want to make that abundantly clear. I respect somebody who takes a long time and comes out with something brilliant on the end. I will never knock that. All respect to that. But what I find is most people who don't have those skills and maybe never will develop those skills, people like me who just really aren't interested and just really can't sit still for that long, for those people, they get discouraged, they leave the hobby, or it's just something they never really take seriously. So when the Gunpla Builders World Cup or whatever came out and rewarded some creativity, I was ecstatic. I thought, this is great. And so for me, anytime I meet a new builder or somebody who's interested in it, because I have a whole wall of toys and model kits, I have all my kits over here and over here. You can't see them. Like my neighbor has a kid. He's about 10 or something like that. And we saw him playing with Legos. And I've been meaning to, when I see the neighbor, I'm going to say to him, hey, your kid, does he want to build a robot? Because, I can give him an entry grade kit and he can build it with his own hands. There's no dangerous tools or anything involved. And maybe something will unlock in his brain. Now, maybe he'll throw it over his back and go back to his iPad. I don't know, but there is that chance. And the last thing I would do is to tell him, make sure you do your seam lines or make sure you do your panel lining. So feel free to ignore seam lines, people. That's all I'm saying. Hey, you know what? Feel free to leave nub marks in. There's welding all over these things. Just pretend it's that. Who cares? It's make-believe. But the last thing I would do to any new player or new builder is to say, here's a list of things you need. Here's a list of how you got to do it. I would say go in the store, find a cool looking model kit, buy it, and get some basic tools, of course, to basically assemble it. Maybe ask the person working there for some advice, but get something that you think looks cool. Don't even buy an ounce of paint. I've seen people recommend that new people go get a $300 airbrush. It's ridiculous. Don't even worry about paint. Don't even worry about the stickers. Just assemble the kit. Get the feel of the plastic. Does it excite something in you? If it does, what do you think you want to do to it next? Or if that wasn't very exciting, try a different kit. And if you want to try a little paint, let's show you how to just take some spray paint or even just like I do, hand painted stuff. It's so satisfying when you get it and you get finished with something and you can hold it up to your friends and say, look, I built this. I thought this was kind of cool. That's how you get the next generation of builders, and that's how you avoid stagnation, to where the contests are, yes, very exciting and very fun, but you tend to see the same builds every year, maybe in just different positions or on just a different diorama, so where else can we go from here? I imagine one day with maybe little robotics or something, maybe they'll animate them or something, I don't know, but either way, have fun. But I really wish people would get over building things, or doing hobbies the right way. There can be 100%, there is something satisfying in playing a game to the rules, of course, but a creative hobby like this is open. It's open to your creativity. Don't forget that. That's what I would tell everybody. if I could. So anyway, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm going to go get some coffee in me. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.